Hello Internet, this is Scott with Scott's Garage. In this video I am creating a concrete pad. This is the end product of it. I'll be pouring a concrete pad in the next video. But in this video I'll show you how I did this. I'm a do-it-yourselfer, and if you're watching this you probably are as well. And perhaps you can learn from me how to create a form for a concrete pad. The work began by renting a sod cutter. I rented this through Home Depot. A lot of work. I let too much time go by though by the time I finished with the sod, and I ended up having to take a pickaxe and basically cut out some of the natural grass that was growing through. A little bit of work here, but it's important that you get all of this material from below the pad, otherwise you're going to have problems in the future. You don't want any organic material. Get as much of it out as you can. Okay, I've removed most of the organic material. There's a little bit left over here, and I have a pile there I'll pick up here before I begin the project. But here you can see that the slope coming off is going to be higher. This is going to be really the lowest corner of the yard. The yard starts to go up an elevation there too. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take a string and I'm going to basically keep it the same level as the decking. If there's a slight pitch down, not much, but I'm just going to keep following that out and see where it ends up over here. It's going to be more than 6 inches. This pad here is 6 inches. So as I come out, and I'll show you how to do that here in just a minute. But again, as I walk around here, this will be the lowest point. My guess is that that's going to be probably, 10 inches or so. And then the lawn raises up a little bit. And my guess is that over here, this corner will be slightly below 6 inches, but a lot closer than this corner. Okay, I want to run a string. You can see that I started over there and just got the exact angle here. I was able to play around with a little bit, get the exact slope down and staked it off. And I have tape measure here, and it's actually 13 inches roughly. So just actually about 12 3/4 inch. So it's a little bit over a foot. So what that means is that 6 inch pad up here, and then over a foot here. And probably what I'll do is build this up a little bit with some flex crushed gravel before I put the concrete down. We'll see. Okay, next I have some old siding that is just scrap, and it's actually going to eventually go over there to the shed and put it on the side there, make it look better. But I'm just going to put it up alongside the line there and just get the angle. And then I'll turn it upside down so that the flat part is up here. I'll cut it and it'll create a little template. Okay, I don't have a video of cutting it, but just use a little jigsaw. So there's my template, and I'll use that in creating the actual side for the form. Okay, I'm a do-it-yourselfer. I also am cheap, quite frankly with you. And the pieces of wood here are from our neighborhood. We have a ton of building going on. This is Midlothian, Texas. You can see between the homes there, a new home going up. And there are dozens just within a block that are being built. And I know the project manager. He's the same project manager for our current house. And there's always scraps of lumber that end up getting burned or thrown away. So I talked to him this morning and just said, hey, do you have any scrap lumber that I could use for creating forms for a pad that I'm pouring? And he said, sure. So, it's not 100% straight, but a lot of it is. And it'll be fine for what I'm doing. So what I'm doing here is starting to create the form. And these will be straight by the time I get done with them. And I'll explain what I'm doing here. Forms are very important when you pour concrete. Perfect forms, or at least within the tolerance of it. And so what I'm doing here in the garage, I'm going to be creating some, lack of a better term, some spikes that I'll be making out of some old 2x4s that I'm going to attach to the sides of the forms that will eventually be driven into the ground. And so I'm going to cut those right now. Okay, I got half of the forms pre-made. So this will be the 22 foot length That's the 12-foot length. You can see I attached the stakes already. I pre-attached them. The reason for that is that I've made forms before where you try to attach the stakes, hammering them into the ground and attaching to the 2x6 or 2x4, and they never go in straight and square. So I'm attaching it ahead of time, and then I'll pound these down into the ground. I think it will make for just a more square form. Okay, my supplies came. I decided to go with a local company called McCoy's here in Midlothian, Texas. Great store, very clean, great supply, friendly employees. This guy's name is Colt. He did a really good job in driving the pallet jack. Ordered Portland cement, expansion joints, and rebar. Okay, Colt, using that pallet jack, was able to place a pallet full of Portland cement on the existing patio. That keeps it out of the rain, and it'll be real convenient for when I do the mix. Okay, here I am spreading out what is called a sub-base for roadways. It's about 3/4 inch crushed granite, some other material as well. Ordered through a local company called Travis, Natural Stones and Material, recommended by McCoy's, right next to McCoy's. The reason I did this is that there was just too much space there and some fill, a little bit less expensive than a concrete mix. Okay, here I'm putting in place the treated pine expansion joints. Some places I had to take a pickaxe and just kind of lower the subbase a little bit. You want the same pitch all the way across the pad. And here I'm pulling through the rebar. I drilled 1/2-inch holes that are 18 inches apart through the expansion joints and just pulled them through. Now I'm doing the opposite direction, and I'll explain more about this later in the video. Okay, this do-it-yourselfer's form is done. I want to point out just a few last things on this form. First of all, remember that string that I strung here, and I matched the exact pitch of the existing patio. Well, when it comes to the level, it meant that it was just slightly off center. So it's it's a little bit this way, and it matches perfectly the pitch of the slope, and so these expansion joints likewise, they match that pitch. Now on this far end, which if you saw earlier in the video, I estimated that was a good, I think I said 10 inches, ended up being a little bit over 12 inches right there. And so again, it's the lowest point. But on this far side of this form, now this is perfectly level. You can put the level there. And you can see that I nailed it. So slight pitch this way, but then perfectly level this way. Now a few things about the rebar. First of all, I drilled into the existing pad, and I drilled in maybe 2 inches at the most with a 3/8 inch drill bit, masonry bit, and the Hercules hammer drill did an excellent job. See the link below for the video on that. And so basically I'm able to tie into the existing pad. It adds strength then to this pad. And before I put those rebar in though, I put the rebar in this way. There are 20-foot lengths, and of course this is 26 feet. I'll show you what I did on the far end. But I drilled 1/2-inch holes in the expansion joints and simply pulled the rebar through. It's very easy to just pull it through, 18 inches apart. And so I laid these first, and then I laid the 20-footers up here. They hung off the end. I then used an angle grinder, a skill angle grinder, and I cut them off, and I cut them off, I don't know, a couple inches from the edge here. Cut them, and then these then fell down into place. So the other rebar, first ones, hold these up in place. So I did that all the way across, and on this far end though, I do zigzag them. So kind of tie them in together. There's nothing on this end to hold up the rebar. So it comes off from the slab. It goes over, under, over, under, all the way across. I did the same thing for that far edge. Now on this far edge, the rebar is 20 feet. So you can see it ended right here. and this is 26 feet. So the pieces that I cut off here, then they worked well going this way, and so there's a little bit of overlap here. I drilled 2 holes in this expansion joint so that they go through there, and that's how I tied the two together. You can see that the form itself here, that there are some joints there where I put things together. Also notice that the top of the form is a 2x6, and this again was where I knew would be the highest, and there's a 2x6 to this length underneath to fill in the gap, and then I changed to a 2x4 to fill in the gap all the way to here, and then I changed to a 2x2 to fill in the gap, just so that we're not spilling over too much when we pour. Now you also should notice that there are 6 places, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, where I dug down a little bit more. And the reason for that is that eventually I'm going to build a pergola, and there'll be a separate Scott's Garage video on the pergola, and I want to make sure this is where the posts are going to be. There are going to be 6 posts, pretty much matching posts, that one post there that's holding up at that end of the patio, but I wanted more support, so it's at least it's got to be 11-12 inches there on each of these, so it'll just add strength to the overall project. Okay, one last thing. You might be wondering why so many expansion joints. They're every 35 inches. I have 9 of them for this. And see the original video. It's called So You're Thinking About Pouring a Concrete Pad, where I planned this whole project, and I explain in there why. But let me just say this, that I'm going to pour it myself with a small mixer, and I know I can do one section at a time before the concrete sets up and get it exactly where I want it. I'm going to use a stamp as well, a concrete stamp. And so I don't want to do any more than that section. Once that's perfect, then I'll move on to the next section, and that's the reason why. Now, I'm not a professional. I'm simply a do-it-yourselfer. Perhaps you are as well. I got my permit from the city I live in. They inspected the form, and they said it was done quite well. So the next video I'll be pouring, and I'll put a link below for this. Again, if you like the video, please hit like. It doesn't cost you anything, but it's of great value to me. Please also subscribe to Scott's Garage, hit that bell notification, and as usual, have a great day.